Hello everyone, my name is Robert Peters and I will be presenting Columbus High School's Comprehensive School Improvement Plan. Columbus High School is a public high school in Columbus, Georgia, currently ranked number 3 out of all Georgia public high schools and number 101 in national rankings. We have 75 faculty members with 31 male and 44 female. We have a student body that consists of 1,209 students. As far as our demographics go, you can see with student diversity that we are roughly 55% white and 45% minority. As far as our testing goes, we are currently sitting rather high, and we do perform well in the top 1% within the state. With Azat and McKee, we see that in Chapter 11, within getting ready for continuous school improvement, that there are certain steps that we have to take before we actually start this process. First of all, we have to establish that school improvement is dependent on internal commitment and ownership, all right? Meaning that all parties that are involved are committed and do have a sense of ownership. The way that we can do that is through leadership meetings and PLCs and department heads possibly redelivering this information to the faculty so that we do have a sense of sharing and ownership within this whole process. And we do see this with Columbus High. It's also stated that school improvement is dependent on support by school or district stakeholders. Now, one interesting thing that we do see with Columbus High and our school improvement plan is that we do give the operational definition of a stakeholder. So we do recognize and we do define that these external stakeholders are going to be parents, community members, so on and so forth. And the way that we build that commitment and ownership with them are going to be through council meetings, parent bulletins, student advisory council meetings, PTSA meetings, anything we can do to share and spread this information to all of our stakeholders. We also see that it takes a represented and informed decision by a majority of the stakeholders, meaning that the decision that is made is going to be based on a majority of the stakeholders and their feedback. We see this within the faculty when we have our internal stakeholders, which are going to be the faculty, being heavily involved. We are informed frequently. Decision-making processes and the sharing of information are a regular component within a lot of our meetings. External stakeholders, though, are a little bit different. They have to be invited. And Columbus High actually does do a relatively good job of that. They are informed of informational meetings. That's going to be through phone calls and emails. But the interesting thing about external stakeholders is that they do have quite a bit of influence, but their attendance at these meetings is relatively unknown, or at least in the data that I've received. This is going to limit their potential. If their attendance is low, then there's a high likelihood that their voices won't be heard. So to remedy that, we can use public announcements, either radio, television, whatever it may be. Also, alternate methods of delivery and data collection. There are times that these stakeholders may not be able to attend meetings. With that said, if we do have pre-recorded information that these stakeholders can view on their own time, that would be an excellent option. We also see that with data collection through surveys, if they were open in a window, they may be able to respond. Training in teamwork and collaboration is also vital in this pre-planning process. The leadership committee has to be trained, but not just trained in curriculum. We need extensive and specific training in teamwork and collaboration. This is going to be the major component of the whole planning process. Individuals need to be able to communicate, but communicate with each other in productive ways. At Columbus High, we see that training opportunities are limited at the time to technology and curriculum, classroom management, and other opportunities. So it is designated that opportunities for teamwork and collaboration are needed, and there are multiple ways that we can do that. We can do that through district-wide training or possibly through trainings at individual schools. Zott McKee in chapter 12 talk about clarifying the school mission, core beliefs, and core values, which is extremely important. The first thing that we need to understand is that all stakeholders need to understand the mission of the school, the core values, and the core beliefs. Now, at Columbus High School, we saw that this was presented during our magnet retreat in 2013. It was at that point that the faculty came together and we worked on creating our own mission. After we gave suggestions, the leadership team took those suggestions and they used them to come up with our current mission. The interesting thing about a mission is that it doesn't state the present. It's going to project the future path of Columbus High School and all schools. So our mission statement and mission is more future tense. What we also need to do with this mission is we need to encourage and inform all stakeholders to live up to this mission, and we also need to inform them of the true intent of the mission, along with the core beliefs and values that we've instilled within that. Next, we need to view the mission as a high-profile document. This is not something that should be hidden within a classroom or in a file. At Columbus High School, we see that this mission is displayed in hallways on our school website. There are administrators that contain it within their email signature. There are also some teachers that do also. But this mission and this high-profile document that we are instilling within all stakeholders needs to be immersive. It's more than just a statement. It has to be involved in the everyday functions of the school. It is more than just a statement that's printed on a wall. It is the mission of this school, the mission of all stakeholders that are involved in this improvement process. The mission also needs to have a relative sense of permanence, which is interesting because Columbus High School, after we came up with that mission, has not changed it since 2014. And this is really important because this sense of permanence makes all stakeholders believe that this goal is attainable. We are still able to work towards this goal. We have not had to revamp. This also instills confidence in the mission, the beliefs, and the values of the school. Confidence that what we are working for is going to result in improvement. In chapter 13, the authors talk about assuring the instructional focus of the school and the curriculum. We need to ensure that the alignment of the intended material, the taught material, and the tested curriculum are all in line. At Columbus High School, we use the College Board course and exam description, and then also state standards. This is great because it does show us through our evidence that we have established learning and success targets that are in line with the curriculum standards, but we do see that there may be a standard curricular blueprint that may be necessary for our honors and electives classes. As we make changes, the authors show us that there are certain times that we make the presumption that all innovations are going to be aligned with the curriculum. Fortunately for us, when we made the shift to the course and exam description, it does align well. But we need to be careful. We need to monitor. We need to get feedback. We need to make sure that this innovative step that we have taken does meet a realistic standard, because there are times that they may not. Technology is important. Technology is a part of education that is constantly evolving and becoming more important. So we can use this technology to ensure lesson plan alignment. At Columbus High School, they use technology in regards to the lesson plans with academic subject areas. All of these lesson plans are shared electronically for AP classes. So all the AP teachers teaching a specific subject will use the same template. All right, this is going to ensure that all required areas are going to be covered. But we also see that in our honors classes, they used leadership approved templates. Again, leadership has approved, so we are going to assume that it does align well. In elective areas, we see the same thing with leadership approved templates. This is pretty interesting because there is an opportunity for Columbus High School to improve here. If we had consistent templates for all electives, this would be excellent. All right, now, even though they are approved, we do see that they vary. So if Columbus High School could collaborate and get together and come up with a master template, it would ensure that we can review and assess the data in a standard format. The first step in continuous school improvement is going to be to study. This tells us that we need to develop a plan. We need to get the data that's already been produced. Then we need to assess that data. Current data at Columbus High does show evidence for improvement, right? But it also shows us evidence of improvement. Our authors also speak about examining evidence in a manner that answers quality and the equity of the instructional program. The data that we examine can be used to show gaps between various groups. One interesting bit of information that was discovered was that Columbus is 45% minority, but compared to the state average of 60%. Digging deeper with the testing records, I found out that 3 out of the 8 middle schools in the district had 4 students or less test. So we need to take steps to ensure equity throughout this instructional program, especially the entrance process. We need to ensure that all middle school students are aware of test dates and all the educational opportunities that Columbus High School can provide to them. This may start with administration and counseling to make sure that our information is distributed to these potential students.